1984, Howard Schultz walked into a coffee shop in Milan and had an idea that would change everything. Not just for him, but for an entire industry. Today, Starbucks makes over $10 billion a year from a single product category. Not from food, not from merchandise, from coffee drinks. But here's what most people don't realize. Starbucks didn't invent coffee. They didn't even invent the cafe experience. What they did was something far more powerful. And in the next 10 minutes, I'm going to break down exactly how they turned a simple beverage into one of the most profitable business models ever created. Because understanding this isn't just about coffee, it's about how to take something ordinary and turn it into something extraordinary. Let's dive in. Chapter 1. The Origin. 1983. Howard Schultz is director of marketing at Starbucks, which at the time was just a small chain selling coffee beans in Seattle. During a business trip to Milan, he notices something fascinating. Italian coffee bars weren't just selling coffee, they were selling a lifestyle. A place between home and work where people could connect, relax, and feel part of something. He comes back to Seattle with a vision: bring the Italian espresso bar experience to America. But here's the problem. The Starbucks founders didn't want to sell beverages. They wanted to stay focused on beans. So Schultz did something bold. He left and started his own company called Il Giornale. 2 years later, in 1987, he bought Starbucks for $3.8 million and merged the two companies. That's when everything changed. Chapter 2. The Product Strategy. Most coffee shops in the 80s and 90s served basic drip coffee, black, maybe with cream and sugar. That's it. Starbucks introduced something different: customization, animation, menu that expands with infinite combinations, espresso-based drinks, multiple sizes, tall, grand, venti, milk options, whole, skim, soy, later oat and almond, flavor shots, temperature preferences, foam levels. Suddenly, your coffee wasn't just coffee, it was your coffee. This did two things. First, it increased perceived value. A customized latte feels premium compared to basic drip coffee, so people were willing to pay more, a lot more. Second, it created emotional attachment. When you order a grande iced caramel macchiato with extra caramel drizzle and oat milk, you're not just buying caffeine, you're expressing your identity. And here's the genius part. The actual cost difference between making drip coffee and a latte, minimal, maybe 50 cents in ingredients. But the price difference? $3 to $4. That margin is where the billions come from. Chapter 3. The third place concept. But Schultz understood something crucial. If you want people to pay premium prices, you can't just sell a product. You need to sell an experience. This is where the third place concept comes in. Home is your first place. Work is your second place. Starbucks wanted to be your third place, so they invested heavily in comfortable seating, free Wi-Fi, revolutionary at the time, ambient music, consistent lighting and aesthetic, friendly baristas who remember your name. They weren't competing with Dunkin' Donuts or McDonald's coffee. They were competing with your living room, and people paid for it, gladly. Think about it. Where else can you sit for hours, use electricity and internet, and only buy a $4 drink? That's an incredible value proposition. But for Starbucks, it's even better. Because the longer you stay, the more likely you are to buy a second drink, or a pastry, or come back tomorrow. Chapter 4. The Expansion Machine. By the mid-90s, Starbucks had the formula. Now they needed to scale it, and they did, aggressively. 1992, 165 stores, 2000, 3,500 stores, 2010, 16,000 stores, 2024, over 38,000 stores worldwide. But here's what's interesting. They didn't just expand randomly, they used a clustering strategy. Instead of spreading stores far apart, they saturated neighborhoods. Sometimes you'd see 3 Starbucks within a few blocks. Why? Because it maximized brand visibility, reduced delivery costs, made it convenient no matter where you were, actually increased total revenue even if individual stores made slightly less. It sounds counterintuitive, but the data proved it worked. Between 2000 and 2007, Starbucks revenue grew from $2.2 billion to $9.4 billion, all from coffee drinks. Chapter 5. The Challenges. But then 2008 hit, financial crisis. People started cutting back on luxury purchases, and a $5 latte, that felt like a luxury. Starbucks faced real problems. Same-store sales declining, stock price falling 75%, overexpansion leading to cannibalization, brand losing its premium feel. Howard Schultz, who had stepped down as CEO, came back to save the company. His first move? He closed all 7,100 US stores for 3 hours to retrain baristas on making the perfect espresso. It cost millions in lost revenue, but it sent a message: quality matters. Then they closed underperforming stores, refocused on the customer experience, launched the loyalty program, invested heavily in mobile ordering and payment, B-roll, Starbucks app, mobile ordering in action. And it worked. By 2015, they were back to record revenue. By 2024, they're making over $36 billion annually. So let's recap. How did Starbucks make billions from one simple idea? 1. They didn't sell coffee, they sold customization, making customers feel like the product was uniquely theirs. 2. They didn't sell a beverage, they sold a place to belong. The third place concept created emotional loyalty. 3. They didn't just expand, they saturated. Strategic clustering maximized visibility and convenience. 4. They protected the brand experience, even when it meant short-term losses. B-roll, modern Starbucks, diverse customers, global locations. But here's the real takeaway. This isn't just a Starbucks story. This is a blueprint for how to take any product and turn it into something people will pay premium prices for. It's about understanding that people don't buy products, they buy feelings, identity, status, convenience, community. Starbucks took a commodity that costs pennies to produce and convinced billions of people worldwide to pay premium prices for it. And they did it not by making better coffee, but by making people feel better about their coffee. That's the difference between a product and a billion-dollar business. If you found this breakdown valuable, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. We dive deep into business models, company strategies, and the hidden mechanisms that turn simple ideas into massive empires. Next week, I'm breaking down how a different company used a completely opposite strategy to dominate their market. You won't want to miss it. Drop a comment and let me know. What company should I analyze next? Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.